Good afternoon. I'm Eric Koenig, Director of Marketing with Heritage Parts. I'm here with Rob and Ashton of the Ashton Report.
Hello there.
NAFEM Show Day 3, final day. We've seen a lot of great things. The first 2 days we talked about connectivity. We've seen some great trends in equipment. We want to recap a little bit of what we saw from a connectivity perspective, but then also dive into some of the things that we saw from a design perspective and where the equipment manufacturers are taking sort of the kitchen of tomorrow.
Those are absolutely true trends. If you go out on this show floor, the thing you see, not only from the big multi-line manufacturers, but also from smaller manufacturers, is everyone is touting the fact that they're connected, that they can take data from the piece of equipment and shoot it up into the cloud. That's kind of generation 3. It allows people to put a lot of data up there. The question becomes how to use it, how to make it actionable, and how can you impact to real benefit the operator in the store. Mm-hmm. So does it save labor? Does it simplify a process? Does it allow you to do something like asset management, in the case of My Equipment 360, Heritage's product, for example, that you couldn't do conveniently or easily or without a lot of labor input before. Right. So that's still the challenge. I mean, the ability now there is to do it. Now all the equipment manufacturers have to go make a case, and of course they're going to make the case first to the big chain guys, and or the big institutional people, and then it'll work its way down into the general market over time. It's going to come. It's just going to be a long-term process.
Right. Well, the connectivity also gives us the opportunity to manage multi-stores from a single location, right. Upload a new menu, change the menu on a fly, create consistency, add simplification, and even as we move front of house with the product well-built multiplex fresh blend, consumer facing, touch, and guess what? You have a smoothie.
Right.
We keep seeing more and more of that, and again, that connectivity recipe is done on the outside, right. Shipped into the machine via the cloud, and they're off and running.
Well, and the other aspect of pieces of equipment like that, which really are pretty amazing, is it's self-serve, so it's labor saving again.
Yes.
So it has that aspect. Now remember, there are always challenges. Those blend and cup machines that Manitowoc Multiplex is doing. Remember, that's one key target market for that is C-stores.
Yep. Guess
what? There are C-stores in places that don't have great stability on the internet.
Yep.
So you can have a piece of equipment that's connected. I heard a major chain guy saying 10% of his stores he can't rely on the stability of the internet. So you get out in rural areas, they don't have broadband. You got problems like that, and there's a lot of stores in that quadrant. So that's the kind of challenges and the kind of business case that equipment guys have to overcome and promote to the operators and really demonstrate the benefits.
What other design features have you seen?
Well, the trends here don't change in tidal wave fashion. They're more like slow wave kind of things, and we've been seeing for a number of years now, and it's very apparent from a lot of the equipment out here. How can we shrink a piece of equipment? We talked on the first day about Larry Jones at Captain D's and working with Vulcan on getting a countertop fryer that was as productive, and actually it's 30% more efficient than the stand-up, the full-size gas units he was using before. He went electric partially because it allowed them to squeeze the size of the piece of equipment, and the electronic controls work better on a piece of there's not the ramp up and that sort of thing. So that's a trend, make things smaller. There's also a lot less redundancy in contemporary food service kitchens. So reliability becomes a really, really, really important thing. So, if you've got a blend and cup machine, for example, at a QSR, those are $20,000 pieces of equipment, but you only got one per store. If it goes down, you're out of smoothies, okay? You may not have as many fryer batteries as you used to have. So reliability and that sort of thing, and all this equipment is more reliable than it ever was. But those are key things. There's a lot more front-facing stuff, like you mentioned with the multiplex things. It's not just self-serve; it's also the show aspect of food service, of making it. you're seeing, the open kitchen now is a cliche, and in fact, the McDonald's operators are fighting with McDonald's new redesign because it hides the kitchen. They want people to be able to see the kitchen, and it's also a communication thing between the operators. One other thing on connectivity that I didn't mention the first couple days, it's a really interesting thing, is one of the big chain guys I talked to said that one of the things we struggle with at the store level is all of these pieces of equipment have sensors and buzzers and whistles, and so if you actually pay attention, you stand at the counter of a QSR, there's all kinds of stuff going on, noises back there, and it's actually a distraction to a lot of the line level people in the stores. So he talked about, is there a way to put all this stuff on headsets so that when the fryer is done and it's automatically on its robo arm raising the basket of fries, but somebody's still got to go out and knock it off, knock off the excess oil and that kind of stuff. Can that sensor be done through a headset? I mean, the people that are working the drive-thru are already wearing those things anyway. So that's the kind of thing that connectivity allows, and this more sophisticated electronic control of all these pieces of equipment allows. So those are smaller equipment, less redundant, so it has to be more reliable, connected, and connected not just to the cloud but to each other. Yep. Because these are systems, they're not just standalone pieces of equipment usually. So there's a long way to go, and remember, there's 1.4 million food service kitchens, and there's a lot of legacy equipment out there. So the other key aspect becomes, can you retrofit stuff? Yep. So I think that's kind of the main things we've seen from NAFEM, but there are hundreds of exhibitors down there, and I've really enjoyed just zipping around and taking a look at everything and seeing all my friends. Because remember, we said early on, it's also the industry meeting place, and it's kind of where the small town gets together every 2 years. So I'm looking forward to the next one 2 years from now. How about you, Eric?
New Orleans, I am. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, New Orleans, Nolans.
Getting some really good food.
All right.
So that's a wrap. NAFEM 2019, day 3.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your attention.